I do have some sort of feeling that in the fall, maybe early winter, there might be another Peloton instructor leaving. And I feel like it could be a male instructor. I almost see like a 3 around it. So I don't know if there's 3 people that, and I don't even want to say not get along, because I like to see, or I like to think of them all getting along generally. So I don't know if it's like a problem with management or a problem of not maybe treated fairly or money, but I do see that someone may be walking away like October, November, December.
It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 265. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe.
Hello.
Hello. So I guess we should start the week with a recap on our last couple weeks.
Yes.
So we hadn't been talking about this, but I had some blood work come back that was less than positive.
It was a little scary.
Mysterious. And so they kept going back for more blood tests and more blood work, and it just kept escalating. So they thought that I might have prostate cancer. So I had to get an actual prostate biopsy, which can't recommend highly enough. I had a coupon, I had a BOGO, so I was like, do a second one. Good times. So so we've been waiting for that blood work to come back, and or not blood work, but prostate biopsy work.
The results.
Yes, there we go. But it came back clean.
Thank goodness.
So we can all breathe.
Yes.
Except for the people who hate us.
Yeah,
And
well, they're not listening anyway.
They'll have to stop breathing. Oh, they hate listen. Who are you kidding? We know they're still listening.
Well, who cares about them? I'm so relieved we got good news. And there were a couple people who were who knew, and I just have to send a special shout out to Jonathan Bradlow,
yes,
Dr. Jonathan Bradlow,
yes,
who was a wonderful support system this week.
Especially when before I was going in for my biopsy, I accidentally took some medicine that I was like, I don't know if I should have taken that. And I've already, here's news you don't need. And I've already taken the enemas. I don't want to have to scuttle this and do it again. I'm like, do we know a doctor who can tell me if I just signed my own death warrant?
And he stopped everything to answer, because that's the kind of guy he is. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And he's been super, super nice checking in on Tom all week, seeing how he's doing.
And I will also say for the men out there, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Don't let it scare you away from having things checked out.
Because if you did have it, then we'd have to deal with that. And it's a very high survival rate. So
if you catch it early, if you do the things, do the things.
Do the things.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our week.
Yeah.
So it had a happy ending.
It did. Yeah. Thank goodness.
And who doesn't like a happy ending with their prostate?
And who knows how often you're going to have this conversation?
Yes, because the doctor still hasn't called to tell me these results. It just showed up online. So
hey, if we read them wrong, we'll have a really awful update next week.
If I'm really bad at reading medical charts, you will find out next week when there's no episode.
There'll still be an episode because you'll want to make jokes. Who are we
just
kidding?
Be you and John Mills. And Crystal starting a Tinder. So
stop it.
So in a way, we both ended up Tinder.
Oh my God.
Anywho, what pray tell do you have in store for people this week?
Well, you just brought up John Mills, and he is not able to join us today. Our schedules, usually we're really good about being able to make it work last minute, but this week, no go.
It just did not match. He had a last minute meeting, and we're pressed for time because I'm going to go see Thor tonight. So I'm not still talking about my prostate biopsy. I'm feeling a little Thor. So he will return next week.
Yeah. So let's see. We have our interview with Erica McLean, brought back by popular demand. So those of you who listen to the interviews every week, you might know that Erica McLean is our tarot reader.
Yes.
And lots of you have been like, hey, bring her back.
She gave a frighteningly accurate reading of Peloton back in our last episode of 2021. And one of her predictions was lots of Peloton instructors are going to be pumping out babies.
And so, yes,
she's like,
she
not
was right.
just, and we were, I think, even like, well, but statistically, like someone got married, you're going to have one or two. And she's like, no, not one or two. It's going to be
They're raising an army.
It's going to be a bunch. They're going to start their own ska band. That's how many babies you're going to have. So yeah, she is back to do more Peloton tarot card readings.
And we get deep. In the weeds, so you'll want to listen to that. And then we also have some discussion on the Forbes article this week about Peloton and stock market. We have some things to talk about with Peloton. They have had a interesting week. Yeah. It's not even bad. It's just, it's kind of all over the place. It's a little scattered. Usually this is where I say there's so much going on with the instructors. There's nothing going on with the instructors, very little going on with the instructors. So we will not be talking about that. Dr. Jenn is here and we talk about reestablishing a routine after you are coming back to fix it. We also have a discussion with Angelo and he talks about, are all sugars created equal?
Okay. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you're there. Maybe leave us a review. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Patreon now. So if you'd like to listen to these episodes ad-free, maybe get some extra bonus content, you can do that over at patreon.com/theclipout. As little as $5 a month, you can get these without any ads. And what do we say? If we get 5,000 people signed up,
Tom will ride the bike.
I'll ride the damn bike. So, and I picked that number because I assumed it was unobtainable.
Yeah, I was like, I don't see it ever happening, but it's there.
But I'm like, but for that, I'll do it. So also, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. It's a great way to stay up to date on late breaking news in between episodes. And you can sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com. And finally, you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/theclipout, where you can watch these episodes if you are so inclined. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Forbes magazine had an article about the Peloton sell-off continues. Is the stock finally a buy? I was glad that they didn't say a goodbye and spell it BYE.
Yeah, well, it's not that for sure. I really do still feel like Peloton is going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
So
it's too established of a brand. Like, even if the stock price were to drop even more and somebody wanted to swoop in and buy it, they're not shit canning the branding of Peloton at this point. They will incorporate it. It's not going anywhere.
I agree.
Yeah.
So first, this article talks about the different factors weighing Peloton down. They talk about how the demand for at-home fitness is on the decline. And they also talk about how the revenue fell. People are headed back outdoors into physical gyms. They talked about, kind of all of that. Yeah. And of course, the price has just plummeted this year. So the other thing they talk about, though, that the core customer base is super loyal, churn is incredibly low, and the valuation is very compelling. The stock trades at a mere one-time consensus FY23 revenues, down from over 6 times pre-pandemic. So there is a lot of room for this to go up. So they are saying Peloton's valuation should be around $25 a share, which is very much ahead of the $9 that we have today. However, still below what the initial IPO was. Right. So not sure. It's good, but it's not great news, because on the one hand it's positive, but it's still below IPO. On the other hand, there are other factors. There are other companies out there saying, oh yeah, we give them like $42 a share. So Yeah, I think what I take from all of that is it's anyone's guess.
Yeah. Isn't that always the case?
Yeah, it is. But I still like following it.
Oh, totally. Well, I hope so, because we have to talk about it every week.
Yeah. Well, usually that's why we bring in John to talk about that.
Touche. Invite Friends, the feature that is replacing video chat, started rolling out and then started not rolling out.
They rolled it back.
It unrolled out.
Yeah. It was so weird because you could invite a class, like you could go through all these steps, and I don't think we have all the screenshots here. I think we just have the one, but it like went through 4 different things. Like first you pick a class, and then you pick people you want to send it to. Oh, you do have them all. Yeah. And then you pick the time that you want to do it. And then finally you pick a reason, which was my favorite part. You actually got to say just because, milestone ride, century ride, birthday celebration, yada, yada, yada. My favorite part. Yeah. And not everybody had it, but I just thought that was similar to how they roll everything else out in stages. But it's gone now. And no word. They never came out and said it. So I don't know if like this was one of their test pushes. Right. And then they were like, oh, we're not done yet. Just kidding. No clue. But at least we know what it looks like now.
Yeah. That's interesting that you can have like reasons.
Yeah, I love that.
I also wonder if that triggers some sort of potential notification for the instructor teaching a live class.
I would hope so. Yeah. I would hope so, because
especially like I wonder if that will become a metric for who gets a shout out, right? Like if it's your milestone ride, okay, now we know who has milestone rides. Oh, here's a milestone ride for somebody who has 100 people riding with them versus a milestone ride for somebody who has 2 people riding with them. So I'm going to give the shout out to the 100 person.
Well, boy, that just took a turn. Man.
What was that? Is that disconcerting for you?
Very.
That it's going to be a popularity contest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want that to be the case. If I were the instructor and I saw 2 people, I would automatically be like, well, I want to put it for the person who has 2. Oh, because they need
more for the sorry bastard that doesn't have any friends.
Yeah, they need more encouragement. Not that they don't have friends, but that they're probably new and they probably haven't established their people, their support system yet. So like, let me support them. And so that's what I would choose to do. So it will be interesting to know how the instructors will be using that. Honestly, I hadn't considered that at all. I just thought, how cool would it be to be like, I'm doing a birthday ride and invite all of your friends at the exact same moment rather than just posting and hoping they see it.
Sure.
So I just liked that idea. But
this is a microcosm to our relationship. She's like, oh, that's cool. And then I'm like, let me ruin it for you.
It is. Yeah. That is. Which is interesting because you're generally the more optimistic of the 2 of us.
Yeah.
I'm generally the negative Nancy. So it's interesting that you do manage to ruin the things that I am positive about.
I think some of it is because I don't consider that ruining it, right? Like I look at that from a marketing standpoint. I'm like, oh, I can say the name of the person that's going to make 100 people happy or 2 people happy. I'm going to pick 100, right?
Yeah.
And so you look at it and go, well, that's sad. That poor person only has 2 people. We should say their name. And so I immediately go into marketing mode and just get very cutthroat. And I'm like, well, here's what you do. F that person with 2 friends. Like let's go with the person that everybody's going to be like, yay, they said my friend's name.
Yeah.
So... And then you get sad about it.
I do. Because I would be the person with 2 friends. That would make me sad. It would.
Come on, Crystal. You'd have more than 2 people on your birthday ride.
I don't know.
I feel pretty confident. So anyway, that's so that's out there. Yeah. Or was, and then now it's not.
Now it's not. But we feel confident it'll be back.
Yeah. It seems like they put a lot of work into it to be like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a rower.
That rower's coming. It is. It's coming. So John Mills did show up then. Yeah, the rower's coming too, I think. I really do.
I don't even know if it's breathing hard.
Wow.
So Lane Break, we've had reports, is finally starting to work with Apple Watch.
Yeah, and I haven't been lane breaking lately, so I wouldn't know. I've been super focused on my runs and my tonaling. But I'm hearing Apple Watch now connects with it, so you can keep all of your metrics on the screen, just like you do with any of the other classes. So Yay. That is awesome. I love that. I am actually really curious to have that work because I feel like my heart rate is up really high during lane break classes. I push hard in those classes.
You dig it.
I do. I love them.
So this is kind of lane break adjacent, I suppose. But news broke today that Peloton has hired Wes Salmon. I'm assuming you say it like the fish.
I would assume.
And the reason that that's relevant is he worked at Zwift and he was their lead game developer. So that seems like a pretty solid poach and an indication that they really are committed to doing more things like lane break.
Especially in the middle of a hiring freeze.
And that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that.
I mean, maybe the hiring freeze is over and they just haven't announced that.
Right.
So that's possible. But either way, it is absolutely a solid hire and very exciting. And for people who are road riders and they really enjoy their Zwift, this will be exciting news as well. They will be very hopeful that Peloton will put Zwifty things in there for them. They'll be very excited about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this seems like a really good get to me. And I think it sends a signal that, even though lane break doesn't necessarily generate the same amount of chatter as an instructor does, that maybe it's more popular than we realize if they feel the need to go and hire somebody to do more things like that.
Hashtag innovation is back at Peloton. That was a really long hashtag.
It is a long hashtag. There won't be room for the rest of the tweet.
No.
Also, this week you said that people were encountering an unexpected paywall.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. So yesterday, what is today? It's the 28th. So the 28th. If you tried to get to your scheduled class, let's say you marked a class, you scheduled it, you go to your app or you go to your bike and you try to get there.
Yeah.
You can't. It brought you to a paywall to pay $12.99 as if you were not a member.
See, that I guess is what I snuck down last night. I was going to surprise you. I was going to ride the bike for the very first time. I hit this paywall and I'm like, I don't even understand what's going on. And then I just stopped.
Right. Okay.
So missed their window.
So full of shit. This person goes on to say that it did not happen for on-demand classes, and it was specific to scheduled classes, and it messed up some people when they were trying to get to a pre-show on time, and there were some other people that also said it was only iPhone related. So the people that fixed it, they had to completely remove Peloton from their phone and reload it, and then I was sent screenshots of people talking about it in other groups, so it was pretty widespread. And when Peloton was asked, they said, we don't know what you're talking about. Everything's working fine. So,
but our app downloads are through the roof. We're kicking ass this week.
It was so weird.
You can now book classes in the studio.
Well, you can't though.
Oh, okay. You now can't book classes in the studio.
So this got posted. It was on the Peloton studio page. You go in. You could book it if you had credits in your account. And you got consent to confirmation saying you were all set. And let me just be clear, the class did not exist on the schedule. However, it was apparently just a test. So now it's password protected, which hint, Peloton should have started with that in the first place. Have you not met me? We're gonna find it.
Yes.
And so now it is password protected. You can't get in there. But the theories originally were it's a test class. And the second theory was it's an on-demand class. It's being filmed to drop later. And I think that was more of just like hopeful.
Right.
So this clearly is coming. We're almost there where people are going to be able to go and book a class and be sold out instantaneously. But at the moment, nope, we're not quite there yet.
So close.
So close. They've been just testing things lately.
It feels like it's just a week of finding things that maybe we weren't supposed to see, but there were some test classes for the guide that kind of...
Well, here's the weird thing. Yeah. They're still there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. So apparently we have two new instructors, Austin Cagley, not sure, and Emily. I can't remember her last name, but this is a picture of Emily, and you can watch them do their test class.
So you think they're really instructors, or do you think it's just like they didn't bother to have an instructor do the tests and then these ended up out there?
Great question. Austin specifically, is listed on his LinkedIn as he already works at Peloton as either global instructor person. I don't know, something global.
Okay.
But not as an instructor. So I didn't say that very well. But he is listed as there it is, thank you, Global Director of Fitness.
Okay.
So I find that very interesting because that indicates he already works there.
Right.
It says Los Angeles and New York City. Yes, that is very interesting because it doesn't list one or the other.
Right.
And, a long time ago, people have been talking about, could there be a California studio? So this just raises so many questions. But yeah, they had 6 different classes, most of which were, I believe, Emily. And then I think there was one that was Austin. Might have been flipped the other way.
Yeah.
But there you have it. And apparently the classes are still there and you can still take them.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does seem interesting that if they're not going to be instructors, that they would leave these classes up there.
It does.
Yeah.
And yet they've never kept, we've seen test classes before over the years. Absolutely.
Sure.
But they usually disappear pretty quickly.
Right.
So I don't know what to think of that.
Have the test classes over the years always been with instructors, or have they been with non-instructors or
They have always been with people who will be instructors.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, they've had some. That's not true. Sometimes they'll do test classes and there's no instructor at all. It's just a placeholder. It's a functionality they're testing.
Right. Okay.
So there have been times that it has not had the person that became an instructor. But when they have shown an instructor in the past, that has been an instructor long term.
Okay.
So I do find it very interesting.
Absolutely. Business Insider had an article about how recruiters from Peloton are suddenly not so in demand.
Yeah, and this was talking about several different companies. Obviously, we only care about the part that is specific to Peloton.
Sure.
So they talked about they talked to one specific recruiter that came from Peloton, and the whole kind of point of this article was that, hey, we used to be heroes. There were the person they talked to from Peloton, the day they started, there were 30 to 40 other recruiters starting that same day. Now, recruiters, not people, recruiters. Right. And that was in 2021. And they were getting so many calls from external recruiters, just ridiculous amount. And then one day it just all dried up.
Somebody flipped a switch.
Yeah, they said that in early 2022, the startup suddenly stopped hiring, and inbound requests from external recruiters were also slowing. So they started looking at that particular recruiter started taking strategic calls about potential new jobs. And so when Peloton, not spelled correctly in Business Insider, laid them off in February, they were able to land a recruiting role at another high-profile tech company.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess especially like you said with the hiring freeze, you don't need a lot of recruiters around.
Yeah. That totally makes sense. People think that there's going to be a huge rebound in 12 to 18 months and a huge demand for recruiters again. So those who stick it out are going to be the ones who are going to benefit instead of people who are leaving the industry.
Peloton announced that they will be at Essencefest this year in New Orleans.
Yeah, they didn't give people very much of a chance to be part of it. So it was only a few days heads up. And it's in collaboration with United Healthcare. There's going to be Peloton instructors. And of course, it's festivals, so it's going to bring the energy. And there's going to be people from the community. So it starts on July 1st, which is Friday. So if you can go.
To it. It's today if you listen on the day this comes out.
Exactly.
So stop listening and race over to Essencefest if you live in New Orleans.
But there are some really fun events. The Black Girl Magic meetup and happy hour is happening, and there was Centering Our Voices, Social Determinants Impacting Maternal Health, and that was on Sunday, July 3rd. And I think there were a couple more, but that were in the email, but I don't think I took screenshots of them. So,
Gotcha.
But that's pretty cool. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jen Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. You may know her from VH1's Couples Therapy with Dr. Jen, or VH1's Family Therapy with Dr. Jen, or her long-running radio show, The Dr. Jen Show. She's written 4 best-selling books, including The Relationship Fix, Dr. Jen's 6-step guide to improving communication, connection, and intimacy. It's Dr. Jen. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, it's good to have you back, and we need your help. We need your help again.
I'm here.
From the Clip Out group, we have Brandy Cooley DeBolt, and she says she needs help getting back into a routine and putting her physical health first. What kind of thoughts do you have about that?
Many. You can always count on me to have many thoughts about many.
I love it.
When she says getting back to, it sounds like getting back to kind of making herself a priority is what the issue is.
That is definitely what I hear as well.
Yeah. And the first thing that I think is, it sounds like at some point she was her priority, and I want to know what changed. Did she have a child? Did she get a new job? Did she move from working from home to in the office? Is there some transition that is making this more difficult? In which case, it's important to look at what was working before that we can borrow from and use now, and what is not working right now that needs to change. And one of the key things that I find with a lot of people, especially working moms, especially women in general, because we tend to, and I hate to overgeneralize and stereotype, but we tend to kind of be a little more oriented towards helping those around us, helping our kids, helping our partners, helping, others, helping parents, all that sort of stuff. And sometimes we can put ourselves last on the list. I know I've done that plenty of times myself. And so I really would want to have her really look at where can she cut back on some other caregiving of other people that's maybe crossing the line from appropriate and good to like maybe overkill, and also look at where can she schedule time for herself, whether it's her Peloton workout or doing something that she really likes that is relaxing and helpful to her. And I think it's really important. And I always try to encourage all of my clients, and everyone hates this when I first say it. I've never had one person answer it quickly and easily. So I'm going to challenge all of your listeners. Come up with a list of 10 things minimum, just to start with. I like 100 things ultimately, but 10 things that you can do that don't involve drinking, drugs, acting out, anything unhealthy, gambling, sex, like anything that it can't involve another person. So you can't have to rely on another person to do it. And it's healthy, and it's something that helps you soothe yourself, calm yourself, and is a good, healthy outlet for you.
Well, if there's anything my 20s taught me, it's you don't have to rely on another person for sex.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I always encourage that. But outside of that, it's really important to have some things that you can do that help you to kind of recenter yourself, help you to nourish yourself. Like right now, I'm going to admit this, it's completely nerdy. It's like, maybe there'll be someone out there who'll be like, me too, and I'll feel less nerdy. I'm really into crafting. Like, really? I'm all about the crafting. Like, I've been like making cards for my daughters. I've been like making just like, I'm nerding out. Like, I love that. Have, like, first off, supplies.
You don't have to apologize for being nerdy. I'm literally wearing a Monkeys hoodie right now. So
I love the Monkeys, so I'm double nerdy.
Your parents wrote 2 songs for them.
They wrote quite a few songs to them, and I once stalked Davy Jones in a recording studio, but that's a whole other story.
Wait, are you Marsha Brady?
I am a bit. And actually David Cassidy as well. But that's a whole other story. But it's really important to have these outlets that help nourish you and re-energize you, and also help you kind of let go of your day. I'm a big believer in flow. And what I mean by flow, I'm not talking about menstruation or a woman named Flo.
I was like, progressive insurance? Did this just turn into a commercial?
There is this guy whose name I never pronounce correctly. It's Mikhail, and then his last name is like Chika Mikhail something something. And he is Czechoslovakian, and he is this psychologist who came up with the idea of flow. And flow is that mental state that when you're doing something where time starts to pass really quickly, you don't even notice it, it becomes effortless, that you're just totally caught up in the moment. And to me, that's one of the healthiest addictions that you can have. Getting into things that get you into that flow state is a great escape from whatever is stressing you out and whatever that lack of self-care is. Of course, I always love a good meditation, a good Peloton meditation. I happen to love Ross Rayburn because, as you know, I always love that he's like, your mind may be wandering now. And I'm like, yes, it is. How did you know, Ross? Like, you may have a lot of things on your mind right now and be troubling to get focused on what I'm saying. Yes, Ross, how did you know? So I'm a big fan of meditation, but everybody should have a list of like 100 things that they can do.
100.
And I do have on my app, my diets don't work.
No more diets.
No more diets.
No more diets. On my No More Diets app, I think it's 100 things, maybe 115 things in the self-care list that people can take off the list. They can add things on. They can move it to like prioritize things at the top that they like the best and put ones that they don't like at the bottom. But if you can't think of anything, check out my app and check out this list, because I spent a lot of time working on it, and it really is some very healthy outlets. And if you don't already do them, then try some of them.
And that's good for the flow thing, too, because now I'm going to use that. Like when everybody's like, man, that last episode was almost 2 hours long. Flow. We were just...
Flow, you should focus more. It should be more in the moment.
Yeah, we were just flowing, man. We were just flowing. And then I'll tell them to kiss my grits, because what's more flow than that?
Good point, Alice. I got a cultural reference.
I'm loving all the references today. There's a lot.
The only sitcom ever based on a Martin Scorsese movie. Make sense of that.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, it was based.
Leave it to you to know that.
It was based on the movie Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, which was directed by Martin Scorsese. So, like, you would never think that you could adapt one of his movies for a sitcom.
No,
but it has been done.
Wow.
So, anyway, now that I've sidetracked everything, thank you so much for all of that. Until next time, where can people find you?
On social media at Dr. Jen Mann, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Mann. And I post my Peloton workouts, especially ones I do with your wife.
That's me.
A long run. Like, I have to say, now that Crystal and I do our long run together virtually, when she's not there, I really struggle.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't there this week. Oh, now I feel terrible.
Okay. I forgive you. I forgive you.
Well, you're leaving me next week.
Yeah, so we're even, but July is going to be good.
That's right.
We're going to hit it hard in July.
We are, absolutely.
Instructors in the news.
Well, we have some new Power Zone instructors for people to choose from.
Yes, we have one from the UK, Sam Yo, and then we have Eirk Jager from Germany. So that's pretty cool. Now there are 7. Actually, is that right on the... It says the 7 phases of Power Zone training, so I assumed it was 7 instructors. But now I'm thinking that refers to the zones, 7 zones, not instructors. So I started second guessing myself. There's more instructors. Yeah. So... enjoy them. If you do the Power Zone thing, this is a great addition. People are so excited, especially I'm hearing so much feedback about Sam Yo. Not as much on Eirk, but I think that's just because we don't hear from a lot of German people so on the show. So I think that the community is still excited. I don't mean to leave him out, but Sam Yo gets a lot of love from all the different people who take his classes. So I am sure both of them will make excellent additions. Did hear a couple of complaints that there were no women added. So, also, for the record, people were saying that Kendall talks about a lot about Power Zone training, and people seem to think we will have more women being added soon.
Okay, we will see. Jess King talked to PopSugar about her pregnancy journey. Yeah,
apparently, as we hear so many times, it was not as easy as she might have anticipated it was going to be.
Gotcha.
She says she had no idea what she was up against. And I know she has in the past kind of talked about how the body image has been very difficult for her as she has struggled to come to terms with that now that she's pregnant.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense, especially when like your whole brand and business is based around fitness. Then you kind of, whether it's fair or not, expect yourself to look a certain way, and you're used to looking a certain way. I'm sure that is jarring.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I would never be in that spot to begin with. Like, having been in a place where I'm like, that's my whole brand.
Right. Yeah.
I never looked that good to begin with, is what I'm saying. That's not a hit on her. It's a hit on me.
While we're discussing things found on PopSugar, Robin Arzon talked to them about her eyewear collab.
Yeah, and I guess I did not realize that it was indicative of her Latin heritage, like that it included any kind of nod to them, which is what the article is talking about. Just my lack of knowledge, not anything negative there.
Right.
I didn't know that, so
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting, but I've seen a lot of buzz about this.
Yeah. Tunde was on NBC Boston, their morning show, I believe, talking about her new book.
Yeah, she was featured, and they said that, she found her voice in the book Speak, and there was a whole video and an interview. So I don't really feel like there's a ton of information people don't already know. But hey,
Sure.
we just love to watch our instructors up there. So I definitely think it's still worth watching.
And Boston's a major market, so good for her for
Absolutely.
getting the info out there.
For sure.
Ally Love was featured in the Times, which is the UK Times, not the New York Times, just to be clear.
Yes.
In their style section.
Yeah, and so this was behind a paywall, so a lot of people couldn't see it. And one of our listeners was Alexandra, was kind enough to do
To
screenshots.
violate copyright law.
Thanks, Alexandra. In general, I think that this was a very positive thing for Ally. I did see some negative remarks about it. However, let me just say, there are negative remarks about everyone and everything these days.
Yeah,
so
that
I'm not
is
trying to lean into that. But people were not... I saw a lot of people comment on the fact that she's a 30-something instructor and she does not reveal her age. And people were like, really?
Well, at some point, we'll figure it out because you'll start saying a 40-something instructor.
Yeah.
And I'm a mass communications major, but even I can do that math.
You can do that math?
Yeah, so...
Well, maybe she'll just be 30-something forever. You never know.
I wonder, like Jack Benny.
Yeah, I don't.
Sorry, that's a really old reference. So Jack Benny.
I know who Jack Benny is, but I don't know where we're going with
Jack
this.
Benny was always he always said he was 39. Whenever you asked him how old he was, he said he was 39. So much so that when he died, the New York Times obituary, I'm going to have the dates wrong, but it said something to the effect of Jack Benny, born in 1899, died in 1974 at the age of 39.
Aw.
So that's isn't that a great story?
It is. I love that.
He also, you want another great Jack Benny story?
course.
This is like old times, me just going on pop culture rabbit holes. Another great Jack Benny story. After he died, he gave a large sum of money to his favorite florist, and he said, send roses to my wife every week until she is no longer able to receive the roses. So, there you go. Jack Benny, ladies and gentlemen. It's old time radio hour here on the Clip Out.
That's so sweet. Oh my gosh. Oh. I'm a little in love with Jack Benny now.
He's pretty awesome. And he probably has the best comedic timing in the history of the medium.
Well, I have a thing for funny guys. So.
Yeah. Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube from MetPro, here to answer all of your fitness and nutrition questions. It's Angelo. Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys, great to be back.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. I have a fun question for you. It is from Nathan Werman, and he says, if I get sugar from fruit versus from a soda, does that matter? Is sugar just sugar regardless of where it comes from?
Well, Nathan,
It depends.
It depends, right? So I want to just say, yes, it matters, and get sugar from fruit, not from soda, and end the conversation there, because that will honestly serve you best. If I just said that and nothing else, that would serve you best. The truth is, it's a little more complicated than that. So it's kind of like the studies that say, a glass of wine at night has not been shown to cause weight gain, and then in the small parentheses in the bottom compared to drinking the equivalent in grape juice. So the thing is, drinking grape juice right before you go to bed at night is terrible if you're trying to lose weight. So likewise, it's deceiving. So calorie for calorie, is it this massive impact? No. But differential, no. But the way your body absorbs and utilizes sugar, fructose from fruit versus high fructose corn syrup, and the type of sugars that you're going to get in sugary treats, colas, etc., is two totally different things. The addictive nature of it and the impact on blood sugar, energy, and your overall stable energy profile throughout the day is going to be worsened by the soda pop and largely improved by the fruit, especially if it's in combination with other macronutrients such as protein and fats. So no, it's not exactly the same thing. It is possible to eat the same amount of sugar in apples as it is to drink the same amount of calories or sugar in a soda pop. But the impact on your body is really going to be two different things.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is drink orange soda.
I figured that's what Tom would hear. That's what Tom would take away from this. Makes perfect
because
sense.
that's a fruit. It's orange soda.
But it's not.
So practical takeaways. Well, here's exactly what I tell my clients. If you were my client, Nathan, you are working with me and you say, look, I really like soda pop. Can I have soda pop? My answer is you cannot live off of soda pop. I don't want you keeping it in your fridge. Now, if you go out to the movies a couple times a month and you splurge and have a soda pop, whether it's regular or diet, that's acceptable. But if it's in your house on a day-to-day basis, you're going to drink it daily. And especially if your goal is body composition, it's going to undermine your efforts. So keep it to occasional and not daily, and you're going to do good, Nathan.
Go ahead, Tom.
What?
He's got this big grin on his face.
That's because you don't want to see our garage,
You don't want to see
Angelo.
how much soda I drink. It's a lot.
It's embarrassing.
It's a lot.
I also say that any steps towards that healthy and clean living lifestyle is good steps. You guys, I can trace the footprints a mile long. So
That is true.
Making great progress.
That is
And
true.
when you see one set of footprints, that's when Angelo was carrying us.
It's a good thing you've lost weight so he can lift you now.
Yes. Yeah. Originally, they were like, did Angelo kill somebody? It looks like he's dragging a body.
I will say the Q&A for you guys is definitely gets the least predictable award. Thank you, Tom.
That's what I do. Yeah, when we go to the grocery store, every time we check out, every time somebody's like,
So we got a party?
Are you having a party? No.
This is just a week in our house. It's diet.
It's diet. That counts.
So any small change you make, it all adds up. But that's another podcast.
Yes, definitely.
I always tell people when it comes to my soda intake, it's like you don't go to an AA meeting and tell them to stop smoking, right? Like you let them have that. Like, you've given up enough. We're not going to force more upon you.
One thing at a time.
That's right.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. And if people would like fitness and nutrition information tailor-made for their personal goals, where can they find you?
Come visit us, metpro.co/TCO for the clip out.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Peloton artist collaboration.
We have an artist collaboration not only of someone that I've heard of, but someone that I actually listen to.
Now, do you still listen to them to this day? Because I have never heard you purposely listen to them.
Like, I don't sit down and say play Rush songs, but I have like playlists.
They're included in your playlist.
Like in my rock playlist that's like got like 1,200 songs on it. There is ample Rush.
Are you sure it's not 2,112?
I am positive.
Songs? Okay, I'm just curious.
But there is ample Rush in there.
Okay. Well, it's been a while since we have had so many people so excited about an artist series.
Rush has a very rabid fan base. Very, very rabid. I mean, they're an arena act. I mean, they're no longer together because their drummer passed away. But when they were an arena act. They'd play to 15, 20,000 people a night.
Okay, but explain this to me. Don't they have some of the longest songs ever made? So how are we doing classes that are 20 and 30 minutes? Can you explain that to me?
DJ John Michael's going to do remixes? I don't know.
And they're all going to be 30 seconds long?
Yeah, because it's like, if you do like Temple of Syrinx, it's like you're talking, it's like a 12-minute song or something. It's like they have, not all of the songs are quite that bad, but I mean, they're known for their long songs. Yeah, they have Free Will, Spirit of the Radio, Tom Sawyer. Like those are probably like more in the 4 to 5 minute range. But a lot of their bigger songs are very long. Like they're prog rock, man. Like that's what they do.
They're what rock?
Prog rock.
Prog rock.
Yeah.
How is that different from rock?
Oh, prog rock is like more like, it was always kind of like the thinking man's rock. So that's like going to be like Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And if you really want to get deep, you can talk about Nectar and that kind of stuff. But so that's prog rock. And then you have like and like Styx in Kansas, they kind of started as prog rock, and then Journey did as well, because Journey was Santana's backup band,
and then they ended up on a boat.
Well, and then with Journey, then the label was like you need to have hits, and so like this noodling on your guitar thing needs to stop now, and so they went out and got Steve Perry, and then they had to, but that's why some of those early Journey songs are so long, right? Because they were still kind of shaking off that prog rock thing, but they were like, we want hooks and choruses, and so they still have 7 and 8 minute songs, or they take 2 shorter songs and bump them together, blah blah blah. But yeah, Rush is prog rock, you know.
Well, I gotta say, I'm not excited. I don't care. Yeah. Like, it does nothing for me. But here's the deal. I'm okay with that, because they don't all need to be for me, and they shouldn't all be for me. And I especially want to call out all of you that complained about Barbra Streisand. Like, come on. Like, Barbra Streisand is just as much a legend. You may not appreciate her,
right?
But she's just as much a legend as Rush.
She is a legend. It's just in a different genre.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I don't appreciate Rush, but I know a lot of people do. I also thought it was cool, by the way, that this came out on Canada Day, because all the people from Canada were really excited about it. Like, hey, we finally got one.
Yeah, like that's like one of their big ones. Yeah. It's like that and Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's got to be hard on Peloton's part, because they have to make these deals to coincide with whatever the artist wants. So I'm sure it's very difficult to figure that stuff out timing wise whenever they're not releasing something. And I don't know, maybe Rush is releasing something, or maybe it was just,
unless they have some like reissues. I mean, they are done.
They're done.
Like,
that's what I thought, based on what you just said.
And they've always been they've seemed to be pretty adamant so far about they're not going out without their drummer. And so, because I believe he was like the primary songwriting force of the band. So like they've been pretty adamant thus far that they're not going to do it. Also, he's like notoriously like one of the greatest drummers in the history of rock. Like incredibly technically proficient. So also like good luck finding a guy.
You couldn't find a guy to replace him.
You can, but it's going to have to be somebody really next level, like the guy from Dream Theater or something like that. So,
wow.
Yeah.
See, I can have appreciation even if I don't enjoy their music. Like, I don't hate them. I'm just like, I just don't appreciate it in the same way that other people do. But I think that's cool.
We have to walk past an autographed Rush poster to get into our studio every week.
Yeah,
so
we do.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's not just Sign Monkey stuff in this house.
No. There's lots of bands in here. Lots. But I think it's cool. I love that people are excited. I think that's really neat.
Absolutely.
The Clip Out.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Erica McLean. Hey, Erica, how's it going?
Hey guys, it's going good.
So we should probably remind people, our last episode of 2021,
yes,
we had Erica on to do a tarot card reading for Peloton.
Yes.
And she got some stuff right, like there would be babies plenty.
And there have been babies plenty.
Yes.
And also,
like a nursery.
Marriages were also in your mind, and that has occurred.
Yeah.
So I am, and then we've had people say, hey, that tarot card lady you had on, you need to bring her back because we want to know what's going to happen next. So, Erica.
Yeah, bring me back anytime. Yeah, here I am.
So before we get to Peloton stuff, I think the thing that we really need to know is what you didn't predict was Crystal ruining our Hawaii trip by getting COVID.
Well, she didn't do a tarot reading for me. She did a tarot reading for Peloton.
So we have another trip planned, a replacement trip planned for August. So we need to know.
Oh, she's going to pull a card.
She's going to pull a card. Okay. Will we get to take that trip?
Did we get to go on the next trip? Am I going to ruin this one? Okay.
Let's see what they have to say. All right.
Oh, fancy.
Oh,
she's got a whole thing.
I think that it's going to happen. I think that you're going to, the time that the trip does arrive, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like I was expecting for something crazy to happen or for someone not to feel good. But, here we are, everyone's doing great and we're going on our trip. And it's going to just be like, I don't think anything like out of the ordinary will happen. I got the 4 of Cups where generally that card could mean boredom or, not anything crazy, but that's my intuition with that. Like there's no major craziness that's happening to you guys, and that you're going to just like have a good trip and go, and nothing out of the ordinary crazy will happen. So
I want it to be.
Yes.
This is a trip I want to be boring. Right. So that's the perfect.
I think so. Well, yeah, and I don't know if it's a trip of relaxation, but I feel like that's what you're going to get. It's not going to be like any like excitement, like crazy nights partying. Like,
well, we're taking the kids.
Just going to have a fun time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, perfect.
Well, good to know. I will cancel the insurance plan that I bought, and if things go wrong, we'll bill you.
Bill you.
Bill me, if anything happens.
Okay. All right. Now we should get to the stuff people actually want to know about.
All right.
Not just us using our powers for selfish reasons.
So we're in the second half of 2022. Can we look at like 2022, the rest of it, and the first half of 2023? Can you just tell us all the things?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if you have any questions in particular. I have definitely been, getting some downloads about what might happen.
Yeah.
I do have some sort of feeling that in the fall, maybe early winter, there might be another Peloton instructor leaving.
Oh.
Yes. And I feel like it could be a male instructor. I don't know if this is because I almost see like a 3 around it. So I don't know if there's 3 people that, and I don't even want to say not get along, because I like to see, or I like to think of them all getting along generally. So I don't know if it's like a problem with management or a problem of not maybe treated fairly or money, but I do see that someone may be walking away. I see like October, November, December.
Holy cow.
Okay.
That was bold.
Yeah.
That was bold.
That was bold, and it's just something that literally has been on my mind for like the past 3 days. So I'm going to go out and say it. Not mentioning names here.
Now, do you have a sense of like, are we talking bike? Are we talking tread? Are we talking yoga? I don't know if you have any sense of that. Just trying to narrow it down a little.
So I'm sensing bike.
Okay.
I do have a person in mind, but I don't want to give out names just for the, I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But
totally.
I am sensing bike.
Okay.
Once again, could be another, a tread, a yoga, a strength. Maybe everyone stays, but it's just been something that definitely has been like downloading in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So another thing that I was getting the message of is expansion with studios. So I don't know if there possibly could be an opening of a new studio or maybe an expansion. And I think more of like London when I think of that, because it's only been, a few years since they opened their doors. And I think they might actually get a little bit bigger. I feel like maybe they may incorporate some yoga and other stuff in there and maybe call for some more instructors. So I definitely do see that as well.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we all know that the stock price has been struggling.
Yeah. You got any?
Do you think there'll be any sort of a rebound for them in a business sense?
Yeah, so I did definitely get some hints on business. I think I said this last time as well, that I do see a female coming in, like stepping up almost, and actually like, I almost want to say like fixing up everything, maybe getting everything a little bit better to where it needs to be so that the business end could be better. So you understand what I'm saying there.
That's interesting. You did say that last time. I definitely remember that. And I recently, Barry brought in the new CFO. I can't recall her name. I'm trying to think of it. But he's worked with her before and spoken very highly of her. Maybe that's where it's coming from. Maybe that's what we'll see. Okay. So I
feeling. Think we're going to see. Yeah, I mean, I think what we're going to see now is with the studio opening, I think that people are going to get more involved and there's going to be a little bit of a like uplift on everything. And like maybe the stocks will get a little bit better. But I definitely do see like a feminine energy just kind of like getting it off a little bit more, bringing it back up to speed.
What about the actual like stock price itself? Now, can you get us, is that something that you ever have gotten a sense of? Like, can you tell up or down from here? Can you tell, like, I know you said fixing things up.
Let me get a card for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly think it's going to be like kind of like an in and an out. Like it might come up a little bit, then it might go down a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's going to actually get better or stay steady. I think at times you may see an increase, and then at other times you may see a decrease.
Okay.
And I think it could, like, maybe around December is when it kind of like shifts a little bit, and it's like, are we up? Are we down? Like, where are we?
Now, I have an interesting question. I heard that potentially there could be another instructor relationship budding. So we might have two instructors.
Really?
Now.
I kind of have a feeling of that too, and I haven't heard anything, so it's the first time that I'm actually hearing that from somebody else in Peloton, because for a while I've been suspecting that there was
a...
Yeah. Yeah, and I've thought of it, and I'm like, I want to know. And I, like, once again, with mentioning names, I get really
no. I don't think we should.
I don't want the instructors to be like, "Oh, Fit America!" Like, shut your mouth, you know. But I definitely do suspect another relationship.
Okay,
interesting.
That is interesting.
Let's put it this way. I think that they attended Selena's wedding.
That's narrowing it down.
Do you think that they attended Christine's wedding as well?
I'm not going to say yes because I don't want to give it away, but it could be a yes. It could be a no.
All right.
Yeah, I think there's two people getting a little friendly.
Okay. All right.
You know what? It could be a good thing. I mean, some people don't like to have that, workplace love, but I think this could be something that could actually, this relationship may surprise people. If
we're talking about the same one, the one that I'm thinking of absolutely would surprise people.
Maybe we're thinking of the same people. Yep. So people, don't be surprised if you hear of another relationship sprouting up.
Are we done with the babies for a little bit? Are there more? No,
we're not,
what?
We're not done with the babies. I'm so sorry to tell you this, because this is a question that I asked the tarot the other day. And that has been on my mind. And I even told one of the groups that I ride with, they had asked me, they're like, geez, like all these, everything's pregnant. What's going on? And I'm like, get ready. Cause I think there's a couple more that might show up this year, like in 2023.
In 2023?
Yes.
So that means somebody could be getting pregnant as we record this.
As they can, right? The conception could be happening right now.
Yeah.
So like it could be at the end of 2023 too, but like I would not be surprised if there's one, maybe two other pregnancy announcements.
We might need to change the name of this podcast from the clip out to the pull out.
That's probably a really good idea. Yeah.
And just asterisk, that is not an effective form of birth control. I need to say that in case our kids ever listen. They
won't listen, but God forbid somebody else does. Okay.
So I definitely do. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Tom, what else? What else do we want to know?
What else? Like, let's get deep into this and see.
Right.
I mean,
okay, let's see.
I mean, we all know that Rebecca and Andy, who I love, are together. I think this is an amazing match, actually, and I think this match may be forever.
Oh.
And like, once again, I don't like to call people out, but I RK is a former like Massachusetts girl. I'm a Massachusetts girl. I love her, and I just think they're really great together. And I think it could be.
Okay. So you think potential marriage in their future?
I think there's marriage material there. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. What about whenever it comes to the rower? There's been some murmurs this week because they pulled down some information off the internet. Now, I feel like this is just my instinct. Everything's all good. It just changes potentially the marketing plan. But I want to know what the tarot cards say.
Okay, so the rower is a long time coming, and I got the 8 of Pentacles, which is it's a fine card. It's a good card. It means a hardworking card. I really think that they're really trying to like perfect this rower. I think especially where there was some, issues with the tread and stuff like that. Not that they're similar. I just think that they want to come out with this product and it to be amazing and for everybody to want it. So I think that it's just taking a little bit longer, but on their end, I think that it's smart because I think there was actually some things that they may have missed while putting together the rower and, all of that stuff. So I think they're just going over it. I think, like I said, maybe there was some stuff that they were like, this isn't right. We need to just go back and just like dot all our I's and cross all our T's and make sure it's where it wants to be for us to like get it out there. But I see it coming. I see we'll hear more stuff over the summer about it. I just think they're just fixing and how to work with it.
Okay. Now, what about the Tread Plus?
Oh, the Tread Plus. I love the Tread Plus. I have the Tread Plus. Okay, so here's my thing with the Tread Plus. The Tread Plus, actually, guys, and this has been stressing me out all week. Okay, this has been like
I don't like this. I don't like what she's saying. I don't think I want to hear this.
I know. Well, I have a Tread Plus, and I'm telling you, there's been a couple times where it hasn't worked properly for me. I had to get a new monitor. Then this week the volume's not working, and I'm like, I'm going on my 1500th run, and I'm like, great, Matt Wolpers, I'm not gonna hear a shout out. I just feel like there's a lot of problems with it that people are experiencing right now. And they're kind of like, I think Peloton in a way kind of likes that because I feel like they almost want to just have not the Tread Plus, but the other tread in its vicinity, if you understand what I'm saying. And I think what they're trying to do is once all these warranties are like, all these Tread Pluses are out of warranty, I think they want to just kind of like, okay, well, if this is broken or whatever, you have to buy a new monitor. You have to pay for this. And I think people are going to be like, screw that. I'm just going to trade it in and get the other tread, So I think that the Peloton Tread Plus might in the future start to dwindle a little.
Yikes.
And that scares me too, because I've literally had anxiety about it, like pits in my stomach for 3 days, because I don't know what I would do without my Peloton. Without my Peloton Tread Plus. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they could ramp it up a little bit and whatever. But I just feel like a lot of people are going to the opposing tread, which Peloton Tread Plus rules. Like, why wouldn't we want the Tread Plus? But
agreed.
But if there is a chance that they do kind of like dismiss that, I think everybody with Tread Pluses will be able to get the other tread somehow, with whether it's a discounted price or a trade-in. And looking forward, I think in the end, it will be more optimistic. So,
okay. What about the rower? Let's say it comes out. Are you anticipating, what do the cards tell you? Are we getting any new instructors? Are they going to be instructors we already have?
Okay. So I think that Peloton is already like on top of that. Like, I feel like that they're out trying to find people, or that and training people. Like, I definitely see Adrian Williams on the rower. I don't know why. I can just see him on that rower. But I think there could be a few potential new instructors. And I think they've already come together and they've already found them. And I think they're already being trained right now. And I think that's also another reason why the whole tread rower is kind of drawn back a little bit, because I think this training is taking a little bit more time than normal. And I just think that they want, when this comes out, like, they want it to be right. You know, they want the instructors to be trained properly, to be able to talk through the whole workout, and just to feel comfortable. Because I feel like too, that's going to be something that maybe it will go live, but not, maybe they'll do, on demand or not in studio rides. But I think that it's only going to be a short time before they are like bringing people in to do the rower in the studio. So they just want to make sure everything is like up to par.
And what is the card you're holding that told you that you were showing to the camera?
Oh, okay. So this one is the Two of Cups, and this is when people come together. They work out deals, they work out opportunities. There's people like employees that come together, friendships that come together. And this also is a big Leo card. So I don't know if you guys know any Leos. Leo is the lion. Their birthday is in August. So this could potentially be telling us that maybe in August is when we're going to, the tread rower is going to come out. Maybe these people in their chart, maybe they're Leos or have a Leo somewhere in their astrology chart. And that's something that I also dive into. But this is a very good card, and it's a card of friendships and opportunities. So I see these people coming in, and they're almost like, once they do come in and they start instructing, it's like, oh my gosh, I could never imagine this person not being here. Okay. They're just going to fit in so well with the other instructors.
Gotcha. And that card was 2 girls, 1 cup. Is that what that was? No. What?
2 girls or a boy. It's a boy and a girl in 1 cup.
Oh, okay.
Thank God.
Yes. So will we see
this card.
Will we see any more breakout moments for Peloton instructors like Cody had with Dancing with the Stars?
Okay. I do actually. I've been getting Cody vibes a lot. I think something's coming up with Cody. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we're going to hear of something else that he's going to take part in, or something like that. But don't be surprised if you hear some news from Cody. I think he's got something else up his sleeve. As far as any other instructors goes, let's see. I still see somebody walking away from Peloton. I still see someone leaving Peloton for another opportunity. And it's not Chase, because we know he already left, but I think it's almost like a better not a better, because like, who could get better than Peloton? Right. Like, Peloton hire me, like I will instruct, but
maybe a better fit for that person.
A better fit is something else that's going to actually make them to take them on the path that they need to be on. But as for anybody else, it's definitely male energy. If it's somebody else that goes to whether it's a Dancing with the Stars or whatever it is, I see it almost as like male energy. Big, like it could even be almost like a Dennis Morton type of guy. I see like big, like daddy energy, like someone like that, like very, and they call him Daddy Morton. So, yeah, it could happen. And if it does, I think it is almost, it's a male figure.
Okay, so when you go through that, do you get any sense of anything going on with all these lawsuits? Any updates on those? Got anything in the cards?
Let's see. And also too about going places, Robin Arzon definitely is going to expand whatever she's doing. We all know she wrote a book, and I think she's dabbled into a few other things. So I feel, I still think that Robin is gonna eventually have another baby. I'm gonna say it, but I think that including with Peloton, I think she's gonna set off with Peloton and to other things. And I also think Selena too. I think we're going to see Selena get really big into strength in Peloton and maybe New Balance and stuff like that with Peloton. So I think we're going to see that. Okay, with the lawsuits, I kind of see everything being happy. I mean, this is the sun. This is my second favorite card. This is like the best card you can get. I think it might be quiet for a little bit. I think this summer, actually, like it may be, we might not hear a lot about that. Whether, we may in the winter or in 2023, but I think in the near future right now, I think things might calm down just a little bit with that.
Okay. Wow. That is interesting.
Do you think Peloton will be making any acquisitions? I know that seems crazy because their stock price is so low, but do you think or being acquired?
Okay. I think as nervous as probably Peloton is about all this stuff, I think they actually are sitting back and they're actually looking at all the other stuff that they have done and are proud of that. So whether there is things that do take place, I'm not sure of, but all I know is that they're more so looking towards all the other great things that have happened, and they do have a lot of other great things in store. So I don't think that they're as worried because of that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
What about going to the studio? We know that they're reopening. Do you have any sense of, are people going to continue to have good experiences there? Do you get any feeling about, is it going to be difficult to get in? Is it going to be easy to get in? Anything like that?
So it's going to be a competition. See this little man here, the Page of Swords? He likes to compete, and he wants to say whatever's on.
Did you say the Pig of Swords?
No, the Page of Swords. But that would be fun for another, if I made my own tarot deck.
I want to see a pig wielding, sword wielding pig.
So I feel like there's a lot of people out there emailing Peloton, putting in their 2 cents, being like, I should be in the studio because A, B, and C.
Yep.
And so I think, a lot of people have a lot to say. So I think right now Peloton's just going to keep things under control, and they know who they want in the studio. Mm-hmm. They're going to keep it. They're going to keep it the short, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think that they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I think this summer and even in September, I think they're going to keep it like that. And they already know who they want. Let's put it that way. I think that they know who they want in their studio, and and I don't really see them opening it. Even though they say they're going to open it up, I think they're going to be very selective with it, if that makes sense.
It does. It does not. That does not surprise me if that were to be the case.
Okay. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that have a lot to say, and I feel like there's almost like a hounding of Peloton.
And there's
think
people
that's calling and stalking instructors, and it's just to the point where it's like, guys, like, you're going to get there, like, chill out. It's almost like there's just no patience.
Yeah.
Patience is a virtue. We all need it,
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's accurate.
So are there any things that you've kind of picked up on that we haven't asked about that you want to put out there?
So I know the last time I had talked about Bex Gentry, and I said that she was going to get engaged. And, I think I said this with my coffee and tarot, and I was talking about Bex Gentry. Her and Austin are soulmates. They are soulmates. I love them together. And, like I had said, they might get engaged. I think they were going to the Canary Islands, which obviously didn't happen. But I think that those two, whether they get engaged or not, they're stuck together forever. They are they're soulmates. They're perfect soulmates. And I think I even like tagged Bex or and Austin with that. And it's just like, you guys are amazing. You're soulmates. So I see them together. And I think that if there is a marriage, it might almost be like a quiet marriage. I don't think that they're like people that want to like show off and have this big crazy wedding. I just think that they're simple people, and they love the love that they have for each other. Yeah, I talked about earlier about it kind of spreading around. Like, you know, we have Peloton London, and there's Peloton Germany too, right? I see like there could be other pop-ups of other Peloton studios throughout. Well,
there's Australia too.
And there's Australia. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an official opening in Australia, like another studio in Australia. That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah. And I mean, even down the road too, like there could even be another opening. I mean, like maybe even in Canada, maybe somewhere else in the US. I think that it's like an open opportunity. And I think that as the year goes by, there's going to be more opportunities. I think the way that it's going to be run, I think that the people that they have in charge are just like, they just want new, they want more, they want to surprise their members. And they're just going to like, it's just going to keep moving forward, and it's just going to continue to surprise us.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and doing another reading for us. There was so many. You got so much right last time, and people were clamoring for it, so we thought we'd bring you back in.
Yeah, we really appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anytime.
And before we let you go, remind everybody like your leaderboard name and where they can find you and all that stuff.
They want to do some tarot readings with you. Where do they go?
Yes.
Okay, guys. So, if you want to find me, I'm at Fit Mom Erica. That's on Instagram, and my leaderboard on One Peloton. Also at Erica McLean on Facebook. Definitely DM me. I do readings all the time, and actually people have reached out from my previous time with you guys, and I will gladly read you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that for people. I mean, I think it's fun, and a lot of people really enjoy it and have really gotten a lot of enjoyment out of hearing your last tarot reading. I know they're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this one, so it's been great. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. I love the community. I really do. Peloton is amazing.
That they are.
The Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/CrystalDO'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or the Peloton leaderboard at ClipOutCrystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. Find the show online, facebook.com/TheClipOut. And of course, don't forget our Patreon and our YouTube channel. We're in all the places. So anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling.
And running.
There you go.
Clip in.